Title: The bold and the brutal Katie Logan's catastrophic misstep and the fallout that follows in one of the Bold and the Beautiful's most controversial and explosive arcs to date. Katie Logan just delivered what might be the single worst piece of advice ever given by a mother to her child. And it didn't just shake the characters, it sent shockwaves through the entire fanbase. What unfolded was not just a soap opera twist. It was a deeply unsettling dive into silence, victim blaming, and the damage of denial, all wrapped in designer fabric and Beverly Hills settings. This wasn't just drama. This was dangerous. It began when Will Spencer, son of Katie Logan and media titan Bill Spencer, came to his mother with a painful and vulnerable confession. One he'd struggled to process. One he hadn't even fully understood himself. On a night out, after drinking far too much, Will had blacked out. He woke up confused, disoriented, and not alone. He didn't have all the details, but something had happened. Something physical. Something he never agreed to. The name of the woman. Still unclear. But what Will didn't know, and what the audience quickly found out, is that the woman who had taken advantage of him was none other than Luna Nozawa. And Katie's response? Unthinkable. Instead of outrage, instead of guidance, instead of calling the police or pushing for truth, justice, or accountability, she looked Will in the eye and told him to stay silent. Not to tell his girlfriend Electra Forrester. Not to stir the waters. Not to seek help. Her exact sentiment: what Electra doesn't know won't hurt her. It was a moment that stopped the show cold. Katie Logan, who had spent decades building herself up as a woman of conviction, of fierce family loyalty, of emotional intelligence, suddenly silenced her own son in the face of trauma. And worse, she did so not because of shame, but strategy. She saw the implications: headlines, the family fallout, the threat to Spencer legacy and Forrester tease, and she chose containment over compassion. This wasn't just bad parenting. It was character assassination. Viewers around the world erupted online. Forums flooded. Social media exploded with hashtags like Justice for Will and Casey Cancelled. Critics called the moment a betrayal of everything the show once stood for. Longtime fans demanded a course correction. And many pointed out the disturbing gender dynamics of the storyline. If the roles had been representative, Will had been Willow, and Luna a male aggressor, reaction would have been nuclear. But because Will was a man and Luna was a woman, Katie framed the assault as an unfortunate accident. A mistake best left buried. But this was no accident. Luna Nozawa, whose own backstory has long danced between misunderstood and manipulative, had crossed a line. Whether driven by impulse, alcohol, confusion, or deeper psychological instability, what she did to Will was wrong, non-consensual, predatory. And now she was pregnant. Yes, pregnant. And in the most jaw-dropping turn yet, Katie proposed something darker, something shocking even by Bold and the Beautiful standards. She suggested they take Luna somewhere discreet and terminate the pregnancy. Not through honest dialogue. Not through a mutual agreement. But through coercion. Through threats. Through force, if necessary. Katie Logan, the woman who once fought fiercely for bodily autonomy, for love and forgiveness and maternal grace, was now plotting something criminal. All in the name of protecting her son's future. But Will wasn't on board. Though confused, shaken, and deeply conflicted, Will began to pull away. Something in him couldn't reconcile with his mother's choices. He'd been violated. And deep down, he knew that silence wouldn't save him, it would rot him from the inside out. Electra Forrester, the woman he loved, the one person who deserved the truth, was being kept in the dark. And Luna. She walked around Forrester Creations with that smug calm, knowing she carried a secret she had no right to keep. Meanwhile, Electra began to notice the tension. Will was distant. Katie was evasive. Luna was suddenly always nearby. Always watching. The chemistry between Luna and Will, once harmless and distant, now sparked with awkwardness. Something was wrong. And Electra could feel it. Back at Spencer Publications, Bill caught wind of Will's mood shift and demanded answers. Katie brushed him off. He's just growing up, she said. Heartbreak, pressure, the usual, but Bill wasn't buying it. His son wasn't just heartbroken. He was hollowed out, lost. As the truth threatened to break, Luna's pregnancy became public. She didn't reveal the father. She didn't have to. Whispers filled the halls. Assumptions turned into rumors. And then Will finally snapped. He told Thomas first. Of all people, Will trusted Thomas Forrester, man who knew what it meant to be seen as dangerous, misunderstood, marked by past sins. In a quiet, late-night scene at Forrester, Will confessed everything. The blackout, the confusion, the morning after, the pregnancy. And Thomas, stunned, offered one word, report. You have to report it, he said. To the police, to your girlfriend, to your father. To everyone, because staying silent is how they win. But Katie wasn't done interfering. When she learned Will had opened up, she panicked. She tried to shut it down, reminding him of what was at stake: a reputation, career, relationships. This will destroy you, she warned. But Will looked her in the eye and saw, for the first time, not a protector but an enabler. This already destroyed me, he said. Now I need to rebuild. The next few episodes were a cascade of fallout. Will told Electra the truth. She was devastated, not because he had cheated Bess, he hadn't. He had been violated. Her pain came from the betrayal of silence, not the act itself. You should have trusted me, she said through tears. You didn't ruin us. She did. Luna, confronted, denied it at first, then broke down. Her own past trauma, her unstable emotional state, her warped perception of the night all came pouring out. But the show didn't excuse her. Not this time. For once, the bold and the beautiful stood firm. Consent matters. Silence doesn't equal safety. And every victim or woman deserves justice. Katie faced her own reckoning. Brooke, stunned by her sister's actions, condemned her. Bill, furious, called her unfit. You didn't just fail him, he said. You almost buried him. Even Donna and Hope distanced themselves. The Logan sisters, once united, fractured. And in a final twist, Will took the brave step. He filed a police report. The storyline isn't over. Electra may not be able to forgive. Katie may lose the one thing she thought she was protecting: her bond with her son. But what the bold and the beautiful just delivered was something rare. A raw, uncomfortable, but necessary spotlight on male survivors, parental failure, and the poisonous idea that secrets protect anyone. In the end, Katie Logan didn't just give the worst advice of her life. She lit a match. And now the whole house is burning. The fallout from Katie's betrayal tore through the families of Los Angeles like wildfire. Will Spencer's report against Luna Nozawa wasn't just a personal stand, it became the spark for a social firestorm. The media pounced. Headlines screamed, Spencer alleges assault, Forrester protege under investigation, and Logan matriarch under fire for silencing victim's son. Suddenly, every eye was on them. The press lined up outside Spencer Publications. Reporters camped at the gates of Forrester Creations. Pundits debated the gender dynamics of male victims and the stigma of silence. The story hit deeper than a typical scandal. It struck at the soul of two legacy families. Inside Forrester, Luna found herself surrounded by whispers, judgment, and confusion. Once the golden girl of the fashion house, now she couldn't walk down a hallway without someone stopping mid-sentence. Hope tried to stay neutral, but her discomfort grew daily. RJ distanced himself. Even Zende, usually full of flirty charm, said nothing when they passed in the design room. She knew what they were thinking. And deep down, so did she. Her memory of that night was clouded by alcohol. But Will's pain, his words, it wasn't fiction. It was real. And it was her fault. Rich called an emergency meeting with legal counsel. Donna broke down behind closed doors, devastated by what her niece had become entangled in. Brooke, furious, disappointed, protective, arched into Katie's office and slammed the door behind her. You silenced your son, she said coldly. You chose a cover-up over compassion. That's not motherhood, Katie. That's cowardice. Katie didn't try to justify it anymore. Her armor cracked. I thought I was protecting him. I thought, but her voice failed. Brooke didn't comfort her. She walked out. Meanwhile, Will became a reluctant symbol. Advocacy groups reached out. News outlets offered exclusive interviews. He declined them all. He didn't want to be a martyr. He wanted his life back. But it wasn't that simple. Electra still hadn't answered his texts. His friendships were strained. The weight of being the boy who spoke up was heavier than he imagined. And it only got worse when Luna's pregnancy test results were subpoenaed. She was telling the truth. She was pregnant with Will's child. The legal battle intensified. Spencer family lawyers pushed for full custody if Luna chose to keep the baby. Forrester's PR machine kicked into damage control. Taylor Hayes returned to offer therapy support to both families, pushing for healing, but healing felt impossible when every conversation was a war. Steffi, already fragile from her own pregnancy, demanded Luna take a leave of absence. "We're dealing with life and trauma, not fashion spreads," she said. "You need to face this." Luna, for once, didn't resist. She left quietly, her place at Forrester uncertain. No press conference. No farewell. Just a shadow in the backseat of a car headed away from LA. Then came the court hearing. Will, in a fitted gray suit, stood behind a microphone and recounted what little he remembered. It wasn't graphic. It wasn't theatrical. It was quiet, broken, human. The courtroom held its breath. When asked what he wanted, he didn't mention revenge. "I want my voice to mean something," he said. "I want to know it's okay for guys like me to say this happened. And I want to know my kid, if Luna keeps the baby, will grow up knowing the truth. Not some lie that gets passed around family dinners to keep people comfortable." Katie cried in the back row. After the hearing, Electra finally approached Will. She didn't say much, just hugged him. Long, tight. And then she whispered, "You didn't lose me. You found yourself. And I'm proud of you." The audience never got a quick resolution. The bold and the beautiful didn't offer a clean fix. Luna disappeared for a time. Will returned to Spencer Publications and began working under Bill, slowly rebuilding his sense of control. Katie stayed mostly silent, her character stripped of her maternal image, now a cautionary tale. Brooke, Donna, and even Reg treated her differently. She was still family, but the trust was fractured. In the final Friday episode of the arc, months later, a new scene quietly broke the silence. Will walking into a nursery he designed himself. A soft blue-gray room, empty but waiting. A letter sat in his hand, a court ruling. Luna had chosen to carry the child to term and granted Will primary custody. There was no fanfare. No music swell. Just Will standing alone in that room, holding both the future and the weight of everything it took to get there. And then the camera panned out to reveal Katie, watching from the hallway. She didn't enter. She didn't speak. She just stood there, silent, realizing to Ladith that protecting your child doesn't mean hiding them from pain. It means standing beside them while they fight it. For once, Katie had nothing to say. And for Will, that was finally enough.